Saracharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanati Mirandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Stavaram Janganam Yatam Yatkichit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhavajivyaphi Yat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarvashruti Shiroratna Virajita Padam Bujaha Vedantam Puja Suryoya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Shashvata Shanto Yomatito Niranjanaha Bindunada Kalakita Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnana Shakti Samaruda Tattvamala Vibhushitaha Bhukti Mukti Pradata Cha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidahine Atmajnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shoshanam Bhava Sindoscha Yapanam Sara Sampadaha Guru Padonakam Samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Naguro Radhikam Tattvam Naguro Radhikam Tapaha Tattvajnanat Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Manata Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Nadiranadisha Guru Paramadevatam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Devaya Dhimahi Dhanno Vishwananda Prachodayat Om Brahmavataraya Vidmahe Sadguru Devaya Dhimahi Dhanno Vishwananda Prachodayat Om Brahmavataraya Vidmahe Sadguru Devaya Dhimahi Dhanno Vishwananda Prachodayat Om Brahmavataraya Vidmahe Sadguru Devaya Dhimahi Dhanno Vishwananda Prachodayat Om Brahmavataraya Vidmahe Sadguru Devaya Dhimahi Dhanno Vishwananda Prachodayat Gurudev 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 Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Oh Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Premavatara Sri Vishwananda Gurudev 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 Premavatara Sri Sukshmatanave Namaha, Om Chinmayaya Namaha, Om Gurumurtaye Namaha, Om Sundaraya Namaha, Om Sulochanaya Namaha, Om Sumukhaya Namaha, Om Charuhasaya Namaha, Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Padmabhujaya Namaha, Om Mandragamanaya Namaha, Om Charumbaradharine Namaha, Om Ramaya Namaha, Om Mandirastapakaya Namaha, Om Shri Bhutabhrteshwarnath Namaha, Om Gayatri Ajvane Namaha, Om Arpana Svikarakaya Namaha, Om Vishnu Pujakaya Namaha, Om Namo Narayayeti Mantrapasakaya Namaha, Om Swaramayaya Namaha, Om Madhurakantaya Namaha, Om Krishna Sankirtana Lupaya Namaha, Om Stotra Priyaya Namaha, Om Mitabhashine Namaha, Om Vagmine Namaha, Om Chitrakala Visharadaya Namaha, Om Vratataraya Namaha, Om Sadhave Namaha, Om Jagatpantaya Namaha, Om Sarvalokahitaya Namaha, Om Bhakta Priyaya Namaha, Om Surdaya Namaha, Om Anukulaya Namaha, Om Neyaya Namaha, Om Sudarshanaya Namaha, Om Bhaktavatsalaya Namaha, Om Premamurtaye Namaha, Om Shubhekshanaya Namaha, Om Pritivardhanaya Namaha, Om Swastilayakaya Namaha, Om Tarakaya Namaha, Om Anugrahaya Namaha, Om Vardhanaya Namaha, Om Architaya Namaha, Om Artaya Namaha, Om Siddhipradaya Namaha, Om Janardhanaya Namaha, Om Manoharaya Namaha, Om Mahakshaya Namaha, Om Siddheshwaraya Namaha, Om Bhasmabhushitaya Namaha, Om Atmalingaya Namaha, Om Lingarchana Protsakaya Namaha, Om Siddhi Sadanaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Omkarupasakaya Namaha, Om Sukshmaya Namaha, Om Vishokaya Namaha, Om Samarikaya Namaha, Om Samadarshine Namaha, Om Dakshaya Namaha, Om Achintyaya Namaha, Om Nirankaraya Namaha, Om Nirmohaya Namaha, Om Avyagraya Namaha, Om Chitarodaya Namaha, Om Vinayashridaya Namaha, Om Svavashaya Namaha, Om Kushalaya Namaha, Om Shamaya Namaha, Om Satyadharmaya Namaha, Om Nirvikalpaya Namaha, Om Viraktaya Namaha, Om Atindraya Namaha, Om Satyasandhaya Namaha, Om Pavitraya Namaha, Om Madhurasvabhavaya Namaha, Om Suranandaya Namaha, Om Nandanaya Namaha, Om Prasatmane Namaha, Om Bhaktanidaye Namaha, Om Sakshaye Namaha, Om Samatmaye Namaha, Om Sadayogine Namaha, Om Haraye Namaha, Om Sutapaya Namaha, Om Saumyaya Namaha, Om Guhyaya Namaha, Om Vimuktatmaya Namaha, Om Gabhiraya Namaha, Om Guptaya Namaha, Om Atmaramaya Namaha, Om Srinivasaya Namaha, Om Devaya Namaha, Om Dyutidaraya Namaha, Om Dhanyaya Namaha, Om Gurave Namaha, Om Duratikramaya Namaha, Om Gahanaya Namaha, Om Bhagavate Namaha, Om Harisharna Margadarshakaya Namaha, Om Kutastha Jagartakaya Namaha, Om Abhiprayaya Namaha, Om Sarvamata Samatyaya Namaha, Om Shamaikata Bhavardhakaya Namaha, Om Hematara Sri Vishwananda Swami Namaha. Ato Deva Avantu no Yato Vishnu Vichakrame Privirya Satta Dhamabhihi Idam Vishnu Vichakrame Tredani Dade Padam Samudramasya Pagum Sure Trini Pada Vichakrame Vishnu Gopa Ada Abhyaha Tato Dharmani Dharayane Vishnu Karmani Pashyata Yato Vritani Paspashe Indrasya Yujasaka Tad Vishnu Paramam Padagum Sada Pashyanti Suraya Dive Vachakshuradatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyavo Jagrubhagum Sasamindate Vishnoryat Paramam Padagam. Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimai Namo Vishwananda Prachodayat. Om Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimai Namo Vishwananda Prachodayat. Om Premavattaraya Vidmahe Sadgurudevaya Dhimai Tanno Vishwananda Prachodayat. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurguvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurguvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhusudana Keitavare Narayana Achyuta Trivikrama Chakrapane Deityadi Sajadara Shridhara Vasudeva Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Rukmini Jabhavanaja Hare Murare Radesha Gopesha Surupra Brahmadi Vandya Shri Dvarakasya Vaikunta Pate Bhuvaneika Murte Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Ninakrute Kamatarupa Varaha Murte Trivikramaya Guhane Bhrurama Rama Shri Rama Krishna Yadunandana Kalki Rupa Gopala Krishna Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Govinda Madhava Mukunda Parat Paresha Damodaraja Dharananda Kadhari Shori Gopa Gopi Jana Samrita Dina Bando Gopi Jana Priyaraye Tava Suprabhatam Shirati Shine Pujagari Patalpa Shine Sadbhaktarit Sadana Shine Ramanga Shine Shri Gopa Bama Mrudutalpa Sukadi Shine Gopa Vallabharaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Kashyapate Sukanarada Gotamadi Brahmarshi Sangamani Sangava Bharateshu Tishtanti Devata Darshana Bhagya Heto Gopala Sekraraye Tava Suprabhatam Mandara Jadi Tulasi Dalamalika He Malyani Anjali Pute Samudaharanti Tishtanti Tvatbhavata Dharatale Munindraha Radha Manohararaye Tava Suprabhatam Vedatrayam Patati Gotamakana Guyaha Gayanti Sadguna Gano Varada Savargaha Sankirtayanti Tava Nama Kada Visheshaha Shri Naradadi Rishaya Tava Suprabhatam Govardhano Dharana Gopa Kishora Gopa Gopi Janamrita Suvesha Bhavadipota Trilokya Mohana Sumangala Divya Deha Shri Rukmini Shavarada Tava Suprabhatam Shivatsya China Sharanagata Parijata Bhaktarti Banjana Kripakara Dina Bando Diyanta Gayati Jana Priya Divya Rupa Shinanda Gopatanaya Tava Suprabhatam Padmaksha Padma Mukha Padmadara Prameya Padmalayasya Rita Padma Nivasa Shuri Padmodbhavati Surasevita Pada Padma Padmadinata Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Vrindatale Viharanaya Mahendra Vandya Kandarpadarpa Aratinya Sudesha Rupa Chandrananaya Siddha Chandana Ligna Deha Govinda Yadavaraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Nanda Nandana Yashoda Kumara Dhira Mayanga Dina Davichona Supushpahara Nilambuda Sharira Rama Vihara Gopala Deva Haraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Vaishri Janvavati Satya Suganti Bhadra Shri Mitra Vinda Divasa Prabhu Putrika Jahe Tishtanti Divya Bhavame Tava Sevanardam Gopi Mana Priyaraye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Achyutananta Mukunda Shori Radha Manohara Janardana Chakrapane Namani Divya Munayurna Nishambalanti Brahmi Muhurta Samaye Tava Suprabhatam Shri Krishna Suprabhatam Ye Patanti Harnisham Puri Kritan Mahapapan Shri Krishna Grahe Dukha
Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Govinda Madi Purusha Tamaham Bhajami Chintamani Prakara Satma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhira Vipalayanta Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamana Govinda Madi Purusha Tamaham Bhajami Menum Kavanta Maravinda Dalaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govinda Madi Purusha Namaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kala Satvana Maya Vamshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasam Shamam Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govinda Madi Purusha Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalindriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chidmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya Govinda Madi Purusha Tamaham Bhajami Advaitamadhyutamanadimanantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabhamadurlabhamatma Bhakto Govinda Madi Purusha Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragamyo Vayora
manaso muni pungavanam sopyasti yatrapada sinya vichintya tatve govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami ekopya saurajayatum jagadanda koti yashaktirasti jagadanda chaya yadantaha andantarasta paramanu chayantarasta govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami madhava bhavitaliyo manujastateva samprapya rupa mahimazanayana bhusha suteyameva nigama pratitestuvanti govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavitavis tavirya eva nijarupataya kalavihi goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhutto govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santassa deva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna svarupam govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami namadi murti shukalani yamena tishta nanavataram akarot bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramapumanyo govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti kodishvashesha vasudhadi vibhuti vina tatra manishkalamanantamashesha bhutam govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami maya yasya jagadanda shatani sute kaigunya tatvishaya veda vitayamana sattva valambi para sattva vishuddha sattva govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami ananda chinmaya satmataya manashu yapraninam pratipalam smaratam upetya lila itena bhuvanani jayatya jasram govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami golokkamamni nijadamni tale chatasya devi mahesha haridhamasuteshu teshu te prabhavani chaya vichaschayena govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami shrishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shakti rekha chayeva yasya bhuvanani vivarti durga ichanurupamapi yasya cha cheshtate sa govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami chiram yatadhani vikara vishesha yoga sanjayate naitata pratigasti eto yasham bhutam abhitata samupeti karya govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami vipachireva idashantaramabhyupetya vipayate vivitaretu samana dharma yassaveva isha vishnutaya vibhati govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami yakaranarnavajare bhajati sma yoga niramananta jagadanda saroma kupa adhara shakti navalambya param swamurti govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Yasveikanishrasita kalamaptavalamya vivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata Vishnun mahansaya yasya kala vishesho Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Tasvamyatasma sakaleshu nijeshu teja Diyam kiyat prakatayatyapitat bhatram Brahmaya esha jagadanda vidana kaita Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Tatpada balavayugam vinidaya kumbha Vande pranama samaye sagadadi raja Vignam vihantu malamasya jagatrayasya Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Nirvayi gaganamambu marunishascha Kalastatatma manasiti jagatrayani Yasmat bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yamcha Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Yakshakshura cha savita sakala grahanam Rajastamasta suramurti rashesha teja Yasya jnaya pramati samvrita kala chakro Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Dharmo tapapa nichayashtayastapamsi Brahmadikita patagavadayascha jiva Yadatra matra vibhava pragata prabhava Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Yasvindra gopamata vendramahosva karma Bandhanurupa balabhaja manatanoti Karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Yam krodha kama saja pranayati vitti Vatsalyamo agur gaurava sevya bhavai Sanchitya rasya sadishintamuna purete Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Ishvara Paramakrishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami.
Hiranyavarnam harinim suvarnajatasrajam Chandram hiranmayim lakshmim jatavedo mahavaha Tan mahavaha jatavedo lakshmim anapagaminim Yasyam hiranyam vindeyam gamashvam purushanam Ashvapurvam Ratamadyam Astinada Prabodinim Shriyam Devi Mupakvaye Shirma Devi Jushatam Kamso Smitam Iranya Prakara Margam Jalantim तृप्तां तर्पयन्ति पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामियोपग्वये श्रियं चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टाम् उदारां तान् पद्मिनीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वं वृणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसो निजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोत बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसा नुदन्तु मायान्तरायश्च बाय अलक्ष्मीः उपेतु मां देवसखा कीर्तिश्च मनिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिं वृद्धिं ददातु मे श्रुत्पिपासामलां ज्येष्ठाम् अलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिम् असमृद्धिं च सर्वां निर्नुद मे गृहात् गन्धाद्वारां दुरादर्शां नित्यपुष्टां करीषिणीम् ईश्वरीगुं सर्वभूतानां तामियोपग्वये श्रियम् मनसा काममाकुतिं वाचः सत्यमशीमयि पशूनां रूपमन्नस्य महिषी शयतां यशः कर्दमेन प्रजा भूता मयि सम्भव कर्दमा श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीम् आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चीक्लितवसमे गृहे निच देवी मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महाबहा आर्द्रां यक्करिणीं यष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीं चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महाबहा तान् महाबः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीम् अनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दास्यो स्वाहान् विन्देयं पुरुषानहम् यशुचित्रयतो भूत्वा जूयादर्जहं वहम् सूक्तं पञ्चदशं च श्रीकामः सततं जपेत् पद्मप्रिये पद्मिनि पद्महस्ते पद्मालये पद्मदलायताक्षी विश्वप्रिये विष्णुमनोनुकूले तत्पादपद्मं मयि सन्निधस्व महादेव्ये च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्ये च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भूमिर्भुम्नाद्योर्वरिणन्तरिक्षं महित्वा उपस्ते ते देव्यदिते आयङ्गो वृष्णिरक्रमी दशनं मातरं पुनः पितरं शप्रयं सुवः त्रिगुं शतामविराजति वत्पतङ्गाय शिष्यये प्रत्यस्य वहाद्युभिः अस्य प्राण अपानान्त्यातश्चरति रोचना व्यक्यन्महिषः सुवः यत्वा आक्रुद परो वपमन्युना यदवर्त्या सुकल्पमग्ने तत्तव पुनस्त्वोदीपयामसि यत्ते मन्युपरोक्तस्य पृथिवीमनुदत्वसे आदित्य विश्वे तद्देवावसमश्च समापरन्ने मनोज्योतिर्जुषतामाज्यं विच्छिन्नं यज्ञगुं समिमं ददातु बृहस्पतिः सनुताम् इमं नो विश्वे देवा यमादयन्ताम् मेदिनी देवी वसुन्धरा स्याद्वसुधा देवी वासवी ब्रह्मवर्चसा पृथनागुं श्रोतचक्षुर्मनः देवी हिरण्यगर्भिणी देवी प्रसूवरी Sadane Satyayane Sida Samudravati Savitriya No Devi Mayangi Mahodavani Mahovyatishta Shringe Shringe Yagne Yagne Vibhishani Indrapadni Vyapini Surasariliya Vayumati Jalashayani Shriyam Dharaja Satyanto Parimedini Shvo Paridatam Parigaya Vishnu Padni Mahim Devi Madhavim Madhava Priyam Lakshmi Priyasakim Devim Namamyachyuta Vallavam Dhanuraraye Vidmahe Sarvasiddhye Chadimai Tanno Dhara Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Nilam Devi Gum Sharanamaham Prapadye Grinahi Gridavati Savitaradipatye Payasvati Antirashano Astu Dhruva Visham Vishnupatnya Ghoraseshana Sahasoya Manota Brihaspatis Matarishvota Vayu Sanduvana Vata Abhino Grinantu Vishtambo Divo Daruna Prithivya Asyeshana Jagato Vishnupadni Mahadevyecha Vidmahe Vishnupadnyecha Dhimahi Tanno Nila Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Gurudev. Good morning. So the verse that I chose today from the Srimad Bhagavatam is from Canto 3, chapter 29, verse 5. And the previous chapters and verses, they are mainly conversations. So as we know, the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of various deep conversations. And so in the previous chapters, it describes various of those conversations, such as of Kardamuni, and before of between Vidhur and Maitreya, and so on. And it describes the story of Devahuti and Kardamuni. And this is just chapter 29, I guess, is one of the more or well-known, because it is the conversation between Devahuti and her son, Kapila Muni, in which she finds herself in distress and asks questions. No? And one of the original questions that Devahuti asks to Kapila Muni is a few verses before, where she asks, "My dear Lord, please also describe in detail, both for me and for all people, the continual process of birth and death. For by hearing of such calamities, we may become detached from the activities of material world." So these kind of questions she asks. And verse 5 is describes one of the reasons why she asks him. Let's see. So she says in verse 5, Lokasya mita bhimate achakshashusas chiram prashubtasya tamashan nushraye shrantasya karmash anuvidhaya diya tvam avirasi kala yoga pashkaraha. My dear Lord, you are just like the sun. You illuminate the darkness of the conditioned life of the living entities. Because their eyes of knowledge are not open, they are sleeping eternally in that darkness without your shelter. And therefore, they are falsely engaged by the actions and reactions of their material activities. And they appear to be very fatigued. I think fatigue is one of the key words in modern society. Burnout and fatigue. And so it is Kapila Muni and Devahuti giving medicine, giving an answer to why everybody feels fatigued nowadays, thousands of years later. And so it's a very important conversation for everybody, especially these new generations who always feel fatigued, to read and understand. So there's very reasons why I chose this verse or this conversation in particular, not just only this one verse. Because when I was thinking what to speak about, as we know, there is the Guru Gita commentary from Guruji, or the new one, the 2.0 commentary of Guruji coming up. And it reminded me actually of this conversation. As we know, the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of many of these conversations, as I said earlier already, just where there's Kapila Muni, Devahuti, there is many conversations of Vidur and Maitreya, and many more. And there are key moments in the Bhagavatam. There are stories, or there's ways in which the Lord teaches in stories, and sometimes there are stories which are conversations, which teach more about the understanding of life. No? And so in terms of knowledge, these conversations are actually very important. Because remember, the Bhagavatam is built on highlighting the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. And there are different aspects to that relationship. And one of those aspects is in which he takes the role of the Guru. And he teaches us about life. And it is shown in the Bhagavatam that is one of the key roles of God in the relationship with his devotee. And so what is necessary for these things to happen, I think is firstly important before we start any satsang or before we start any commentary specifically with Guruji. There's two main factors to this situation to be able to manifest itself. The first one is for someone or people to have questions, or more specifically, to have good questions. If you have attended more than one or two satsangs with Guruji, it is not that often that Guruji replies, "That's a very good question." So if you succeed in asking Guruji a question that he deems to be very good, you have already succeeded in life in many ways. Because it's not a very easy thing to do to begin with. The reason why there are so many beautiful conversations in the Bhagavatam, the reason why we have the Gita, and the reason why we have the Guru Gita is because someone asked great questions. The second ingredient that is necessary is someone who is able to answer those questions. And obviously in all these cases, the best person to answer these questions is God himself, right? So whether it is Kapila Muni, whether it is all the various characters in a Bhagavatam, or whether it is Guruji in our case, you need somebody who has good questions, and you need somebody who has good answers. This is why the Gita is so great, because Arjuna has good questions and he's willing to listen. And you have Krishna who's actually able to answer. If Krishna was just a random friend like we have, probably the Gita would have looked very differently when Arjuna starts complaining about his original position of not wanting to fight. Most friends would have probably supported, in a sense, saying, it's okay, if you don't want to fight, you don't have to fight. And so you need somebody who is well equipped to answer the uncomfortable questions or give uncomfortable answers, let's put it this way. No? And so there's these two ingredients which are important. The Guru Gita itself happens also in a very similar way, because you could say Devahuti reminds me a lot in that sense, in her role, in the way that she asks the questions. Of course, she is the Divine Mother in a sense, the female aspect. The same then Parvati Devi is in the Guru Gita. The Guru Gita also only happens because Parvati asks a good question. And actually, the first answer that Shiva gives to Parvati asking this question is, that is a very good question, right? And the reason why he answers it is because she's asking not just for herself, but she's asking for the benefit of everyone. That is why Shiva answers and gives the Guru Gita, in a sense, the greatness of the spiritual master, or this aspect of the Supreme Lord that on one hand disseminates knowledge to all of us mundane people, or so-called muggles, that we need to, and at the same time, she represents the Divine Mother, no? She is manifestation, she is creation, and so she is the one who cares the most about her children, for us all to come back to where we are supposed to go. And so naturally, the questions that Parvati Devi asks to Shiva is not for herself. Why would she need to ask? No, she's the Divine Mother. But she asks for on behalf of all of us. And so that's what I feel is actually asking Guruji good questions in satsang is one of the greatest services that we can do to humanity, not actually for ourselves. Of course, we can ask good questions to avoid embarrassing ourselves, but actually asking great questions is one of the greatest services we can do. Because if we look at, you could say, history, the Guru Gita wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Parvati asking great question. The same is with Vidhur and Maitreya. There wouldn't be this great conversation if there wasn't someone asking great questions. The same is with this conversation between Kapila and his mother Devahuti wouldn't be in the Bhagavatam if it was not for Devahuti. Yes, being in a desperate situation, but out of that desperate situation, asking good questions and looking for a solution to get out of this desperate situation, right? And so asking questions is important. The second thing that is important after asking questions is willing to listen to the answer. That's maybe even more difficult than asking the question, no? But going through this, what she says here, so Devahuti, as we know, Devahuti was the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, and she was married to Muni. Muni was a great sage, and she had 9 daughters. And Muni did great penance to receive a son, no? And once the Lord appeared in front of him, his request was, I would like to have a son like you. And the Lord replied, there is no one like me. And to be able to grant you your boon, I will manifest myself as your son. Because there is no one like me, so I have to come myself, basically. And so he manifested himself in the womb of Devahuti and was born as Kapila Muni. And so he's referred to as one of the manifestation of the Supreme Lord himself in the Bhagavatam. And so in this conversation, he gives great knowledge, and he's considered to be you like to use the word founder, the one who gave the original idea of Sankhya Yoga, no? And so he gives great knowledge. And so what Devahuti says here, for the reasoning why she asks him, is that he's the one who illuminates the darkness of conditioned life. he gives knowledge to those who have their eyes closed to seeing the truth. So I think this is very important. And in a sense, coming up to Guru Gita, looking at history, for me, every time Guruji gives a commentary, it is in a sense a new Bhagavatam moment. Just as various characters in the Bhagavatam gave commentaries, conversations, answers to questions, just as Krishna in the Gita gave many answers, conclusive answers to Arjuna, it is the same for me with Guruji giving a commentary every time. And yes, the Guru Gita is not given the first time. It was the first, in a sense, commentary that Guruji gave in this, we could say, series of commentaries in the last 10 years, right? And it's interesting that he gives it a second time. Of course, the verses will be a bit different. It will be a bit longer. But every time he speaks, he gives, in some way you could say he never spoke anything that he didn't speak before. And he could even say, in a way, that he doesn't make up things. No, he doesn't necessarily speak about things that are completely new and that don't exist already, that have not yet been spoken by in the Bhagavatam or in the Gita by Krishna. But the way that he gives it, the way that he speaks about it, is made for us for now, no, for this time, for this period of time. And the way that he chooses to interact with us is so beautiful, because in one way it is very traditional. No, it is very, when you see the images and the visions of the sages sitting under the tree teaching to his disciples. Of course, Guruji usually doesn't sit under a tree, but in a sense it's very similar in terms of setup, where he sits and he gives the lecture. No, he gives the teachings to his disciples, to those who need the knowledge to open their eyes to the truth of reality of life. No, at the same time, he also teaches in a very modern way. No, one of the best and most unfiltered ways is to read Guruji's tweets. No, X's, whatever. No. Because of course you can read his books, you can read the commentary, the various commentaries that he has given, but it is so incredibly amazing in the way that Guruji gives even his life knowledge. Every day, he personally sits and personally writes the tweets that he writes. No? And sometimes, yes, they are very difficult to understand. No? Sometimes they are very long, and sometimes you need to read it more than once, right? That is exactly like the Gita. And so for sure, at the time, Krishna could have given the Gita to Arjuna in a Zoom meeting, no? Or Karda Muni could have given his lecture live on YouTube. No, it didn't happen, no? It was a different setting. And so it's amazing that Guruji kind of marries both of these things, that the way that he disseminates knowledge is both in traditional way and very modern, up-to-date kind of style. And so he gives all these different ways so that it becomes most understandable, most approachable, and most closest to us to be able to digest. No? Because in a sense you could say, he has been giving Guru Gita commentary for a very long time through his tweets. No, he writes so much about the role of the guru almost every day, or it feels like almost every day. He writes in the perspective, what is the role of the guru? No, and he gives knowledge every single day, right? And so in a sense, he's actually already giving Guru Gita commentary or guru commentary, continuously. And so let's see what new knowledge, or quote-unquote new knowledge, he will give for us. Because as Kapila Muni is doing for Devahuti, in a sense, every time Guruji gives a commentary, it is that light that source of knowledge that he shares for us and for all of humanity. And as I said earlier, as much as asking questions is a great service, the same for the one who is giving the answers to those questions is also a great service. And it is not only for us, but it is for whoever is willing to listen. It is many of us were not around at the time of Krishna, or many of us were not around at the time of Kapila Muni, but yet we can still benefit from those questions and those answers and those conversations now and learn great knowledge from it now. And so it might be, that's why this knowledge that Guruji gives is, and that Krishna has given, is so timeless, because it is relevant no matter at what time you read it in history. It will always be equally important and an equally freeing one from the limited, bound position which we found ourselves in. And you could say the reason why knowledge and the knowledge that Guruji gives is so important, because it is the answer to everything. And I wanted to actually take a few verses from the Gita to highlight some of those points and the humility and the compassion that Krishna has for us, and the purpose of why he gives that knowledge. So those are actually consecutive verses from chapter 4, from verse 35 to 39. I might not take all of them, but let's see. So the first is in 35. He says that once you receive this knowledge, O Arjuna, you will never again be deluded. Through that knowledge, you will see all beings without exception as the self, and then as part of me. So this is the reason for the first purpose of why we gain or want to aim to gain knowledge is to attain the Supreme. No? To see reality, to see ourself, our true self, and then to see Him in those three stages. And knowledge, as Krishna says here, is the way to gain that vision, no? That drishti. It is, of course, the knowledge that is given by Him, right? But only through that knowledge given by Him, we ultimately are going to be able to see or perceive Him. The second, verse 36, is, in a sense, you could say a reassurance, because I don't know for you, but for me, I know that looking at myself and my mind, rather, it seems very difficult to actually do that. No? To walk this path that Krishna lays out for us in the Gita, or to walk this path that Guruji lays out for us or reminds us of every single day. No? And so what he says is that even if you are the most of all sinners, you can cross over this miserable condition by the boat of knowledge. No? So it doesn't matter how bad you are, it doesn't matter how bad of a sinner you are, and it doesn't even matter how stupid you are. It is possible through this knowledge to cross over this ocean of illusion. Because what we have to realize is that we have a boat, we have this knowledge, as devotees I'm speaking generally. We are already much more fortunate than most people who don't even have a boat. No? So we have a boat, and we are even so lucky that we don't have to steer the boat by ourselves. We have a guru, who is the boatsman who actually knows where to go with the boat. So we have all the most necessary ingredients to get to our goal. In 37, and in a sense 38 is the same, it says, Arjuna, just as a blazing fire turns wood to ashes, so does the fire of knowledge turn all karmas to ashes. And so it shows how, in the a bit before, the chapter before also, Krishna speaks about, in context with fire, he speaks about fire as being insatiable desire, right? And so here in the Gita, as in these two chapters, he speaks about, in the context with fire, he speaks about desire and knowledge. And actually, as he says, that the greatest enemy of the wise, of those who have knowledge, is desire. And yet, knowledge is also the antidote to desire. So in a sense, sometimes you need to fight fire with fire, as he says. Desire can cover up knowledge, but knowledge can also remove desire, right? So it is, in a sense, both the problem and the answer at the same time, you could say. In this world, nothing purifies one more than knowledge. Those who have perfected the practice of karma yoga will have this knowledge revealed to them. So it is important to understand that, yes, knowledge is what is most purifying in this world, but as much as that is a reassurance or that is a direction, it also means that we have to take it as a great responsibility. Because once we have clarity, once we have knowledge, we cannot claim ignorance is bliss. No? Because ignorance is the opposite of knowledge. And so once you have knowledge, you cannot claim ignorance. And so as devotees, the moment you meet Guruji, you cannot claim ignorance. Because when you claim ignorance as a devotee, you're stupid. No? And so as much as a devotee, we have to realize this responsibility also. That once you meet Guruji, your excuse not to know what to do goes out of the window. And so we have to take this responsibility serious also. And so we have to take action on the knowledge that we know. We cannot just sit on the knowledge and say, yes, I have knowledge. No, you have to put this knowledge into action. Otherwise, it is completely useless. And in a sense, you could even argue the karma that you gain from inaction is even worse when you have knowledge. Because when you know what to do and you still don't know, you don't do what you're supposed to do, it is much worse than when you already don't know. And that's why you don't act, right? So being a devotee and having knowledge available to us is a great responsibility also, that we have to actually put it into practice. And the last one, you could say the last ingredient Krishna gives in verse 39, one who has faith will gain this knowledge if they are dedicated and have controlled the senses. So he says, he gives 3 ingredients that are necessary. No? Controlled senses, dedication, self-control, discipline are very important. No, he says that one who has faith will gain this knowledge, right? You could say faith is the first ingredient. You need to have faith in what you believe in. You need to have faith in the practice that we do, in the service that we do. But faith doesn't come by itself. Faith has to be earned. No? Just as trust in a relationship has to be earned, it doesn't come for free. And that is why he says, what is necessary is dedication and control of the senses. Self-restraint and discipline is the key, which is the way that we express, the way that we implement the knowledge, right? It is not more or less than that. Once you have knowledge, you have to implement it. And the way that you implement it is through self-restraint and discipline. And through implementing it rigorously, faith will come. And when faith is there, the knowledge will be given to you. And so to have only the possibility to be able to listen to Guruji, to his commentaries, and to the Gita commentary, Guru Gita commentary specifically, as we know the role and the importance of the Guru in our life, it is one in a lifetime unique opportunity. And so the best way for us to gain the best benefit is to listen, firstly, to appreciate and give gratitude to the knowledge that he gives us, the opportunity that he gives us, and to implement it in our life. Jai Gurudev.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Oh, Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Pralay daladadaine.
Pralay daladadaine.
Pralay daladadaine. Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha.
Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha.
Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha.
Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha.
Shilai Tanka Nakalaye.
Shiratanka Nakalaye.
Shilai Tanka Nakalaye.
Shiratanka Nakalaye.
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho.
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho.
Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimho.
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho.
Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimho.
Yatto Yatto Yamitato Narasimho.
Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimho.
Yatto Yatto Yamitato Narasimho.
Bahi Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho.
Bahir Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho.
Bahi Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho.
Bahir Narasimho Hridaye Narasimho.
Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade.
Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade.
Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade.
Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade.
Navakara Kamalabhare Nakamadbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Brigam Navakara
Kamalabhare Nakamadbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Brindam.
Keshavadeta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Keshavadeta Narahari Rupa Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Jagadisha Hare.
Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev.
Jayo Narasimha Dev, Jayo Narasimha Dev.
Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev.
Jayo Narasimha Dev, Jayo Narasimha Dev.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj.
Bhakta Svarupa Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Bhakta Svarupa Jayo Prahlad Maharaj.
Gurudev, Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev,
Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev.
Oh Gurudev, 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 Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev.
Gurudev, 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 Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev.
Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev Sri Vishwananda Gurudev. Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Yatindraya Karunakaraya, Mangala Mangala me.
Yatindraya Karunakaraya, Mangala Mangala me.
Prapati Dharmikarataya, Mangala Mangala me.
Kapati Dharme Karataya, Mangala Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Saligrama Pratisthitaya, Mangala Mangala me.
Saligrama Pratishtitaya, Mangala Mangala me.
Vedanta Dharine Godagrajaya, Mangala Mangala me.
Vedanta Dharine Godagrajaya, Mangala Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Range Sakinkaya Rataya, Mangala Mangala me.
Rangesha Karyarataya, Mangala Mangala me.
Mananathaya Dharine Dharaya, Mangala Mangala me.
Mananataya Dharine Dharaya, Mangala Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Ramanuja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me. Yatiraja, Ramanuja, Mangala Mangala me.
Mangala Mangala me. Om Jai Lakshmi Mata,
Meya Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tumako Nishadina Sevata, Tumako Nishadina Sevata, Hara Vishnu Vidata. Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Umarama Brahmani, Tumae Jagamata, Meya Tumae Jagamata. Surya Chandra Madhyavat, Surya Chandra Madhyavat, Narada Rishi Gata. Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Durga Rupa Niranjani Sukha Sampati Data, Meya Sukha Sampati Data. जो कोई तुमको जावत, जो कोई तुमको जावत, रिद्धि सिद्धि धन पाता। ओम जय लक्ष्मी माता, तुम पाताल निवासी, तुम्हारे Tumae Shubhadata, Meya Tumae Shubhadata, Karma Prabhava Prakashi, Karma Prabhava Prakashi, Bhavanidhi Kitrata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Vijayaramen Tumarati, Sabasala Gunata, Meya Sabasala Gunata, Sabasambhava Ojata, Sabasambhava Ojata, Mananai Gavavarata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tuma Vinayagna Nahote, Vastrana Koi Pada, Meya Vastrana Koi Pada, Kana Panka Vaibhava, Kana Panka Vaibhava, Sapatuma Seada, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Shubhaguna Mandira Sundar, Shiro Dadijata, Meya Shiro Dadijata, Ratna Chatura Dasha Tumabina, Ratna Chatura Dasha Tumabina, Koi Naipada, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Mahalakshmi Ji ki Arati, Jogoi Janagata, Meya Jogoi Janagata, Urananda Samata, Urananda Samata, Papa Uttarajata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Meya Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tumako Nishadina Sevata, Tumako Nishadina Sevata, Hara Vishnu Vidata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Meya Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Tumako Nishadina Sevata, Tumako Nishadina Sevata, Hara Vishnu Vidata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Om Jaya Lakshmi Mata, Eva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhusha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vinyadranam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva, Govinda, Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om.
Vimse bolo Shri Lakshmi Narayana Bhavan ki, Sri Bhutabhrteshwarnath Simha Bhavan ki, Shri Radha Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki, Mahavatar Ki Babaji ki, Shri Ramanujacharya ki, Vimse bolo Sadgurudeva Sri Swami Vishwananda Mahaprabhu ki.
Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Paraya Paramam Purushaya Parakarma Mantrayanta Tantra Oshadastra Shastrani Samara Samara Mityor Mochaya Mochaya Om Namo Bhagavate Masurashanaya Diti Jala Pritaya Savadikshamana Umpat Parashmaye Parabrahmane Paramdutishe Swaha Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Shama Venkataramana Govinda, Gopika Jivana Smarana Govinda, Bhakta Vatsala Govinda, Kundalika Varade, Eknathana Bhakti Mandali ki
Jai.
Alvar Imperanar Tiruvallikalle